Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today we are taking an exclusive deep dive into an absolutely incredible tool for music producers. Consider this your definitive visual manual for mastering the Archive V2 plugin by Masada Audio. We're going to break down exactly how this engine takes your pristine digital audio and turns it into rich, authentic vintage gold, step by step. So let's get right to it.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how that philosophy translates directly into the overhauled V2 graphical interface. Notice how the front panel acts as this incredibly tactile workspace. It visually bridges those classic, weighty, hardware aesthetics with a totally frictionless, modern digital workflow. Every single knob and switch you're seeing directly reflects the underlying processing parameters, giving you immediate visual feedback on the exact tone you're shaping.
Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with Section 1, Analog Soul Digital Skin. Then we hit Section 2, the Vintage Sampler Engine. Section 3 covers tape and console output. Section 4 is dialing in your tone, and we wrap up with Section 5, the recording workflow. Let's kick things off with Section 1, Analog Soul Digital Skin.
So the Archive operates on this proprietary locked DSP ecosystem. Because its routing protocol is essentially a closed box, there's no way to bypass or alter it. And that's absolutely crucial because it ensures the mathematical purity of the analog coloration. When you push this engine, it literally pushes back, just like real iron in circuitry. You're also getting optimized to run natively on both Mac Apple Silicon and Windows.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Vintage Sampler Engine.
This is where the magic really happens. As a producer, you have the power to instantly switch between 6 legendary hardware models. You can impart their distinct transient punch and quantization noise directly onto your tracks. You've got the Akai S950 for that classic 12-bit grit, the EMU SP1200 for that highly revered 12-bit crunch and heavy ringing. If you want something cleaner, there's the 16-bit Akai S3000. For a dusty, mid-range forward character, grab the 13-bit Ensoniq EPS. Then you have the thick, warm ASR10, and if you just want to break things, the Ensoniq Mirage gives you absolute 8-bit lo-fi destruction with a dark 5 kHz ceiling. Selecting just one of these completely changes the foundation of your sound.
And this brilliantly illustrates how deep the modeling goes. Take the new Vin60 module, for example. It instantly applies the MP60's sonic fingerprint by dropping your signal down to a crude 12-bit linear quantization, applying a hardware-accurate 11 kHz roll-off, and boosting the 100 Hz output transformer. It perfectly captures the unique, gritty aliasing of that iconic drum machine with literally just the press of a button.
Let's flow right into Section 3, Tape and Console Output.
Here, the Archive lets you route your audio through 2 very distinct analog mix bus emulations. First, the British Class A, which acts like a classic Neve-style console. You want to use this when you need that warm, asymmetric saturation that adds real harmonic thickness and weight to your low mids. Or flip the switch over to the modern VCA, an SSL-style console. Use this one when you need symmetrical, punchy, and aggressive tones. It is for sure absolutely perfect for making your drums smack right through a dense mix.
After the console stage, we hit the tape machine engine, and this offers 4 distinct speeds. You have the custom Archive, which is just a beautifully destroyed tape algorithm. Then 7.5 IPS for that dark, lo-fi cassette territory with a heavy low mid-bump. 15 IPS brings that classic thick studio standard glue. And finally, 30 IPS for subtle, mastering-grade high fidelity. The really key takeaway here is that pushing your input gain drives these specific algorithms harder, delivering true-to-life magnetic compression and mechanical nonlinearities, all without ever causing harsh digital clipping.
Oh man, and we absolutely cannot talk about the output stage without highlighting the Iron Boost. This thing is a game changer. It's a highly specialized mastering exciter working underneath your track. It actively isolates your sub and kick frequencies below 150 Hz and then drives them through a cooled iron saturation algorithm, blending just the 15% kiss of warmth directly underneath your audio. If you need to massively enhance your extreme low-end presence and completely anchor a beat, this is how you do it.
Now for Section 4, dialing in your tone.
So the crucial point here is how these interactive core controls map directly to that complex engine we just broke down. Knobs like trim, drive, and sample rate, they aren't just static EQs. They interact dynamically with the sampler and tape engines to create incredibly deep textures. The UI elements you see perfectly reflect the underlying processor parameters in real time. It's like a giant puzzle perfectly locking into place.
Let's talk about what these knobs are actually doing at your fingertips. Trim gives you a totally clean input gain adjustment from -24 to +24 dB. Drive
physically pushes your signal deep into the sampler's 80 converters for that aggressive harmonic saturation. Then there's sample rate, which is continuously variable down to 2 kHz. Let me tell you, grabbing that knob and physically turning it down introduces the most authentic, aliased ringing and brilliant lower fidelity textures. Tape effect controls the intensity of your magnetic characteristics like flutter, and mix gives you a global parallel blend for instant New York-style compression.
But you know what really sets this workflow apart? It's the smart dynamics happening entirely under the hood. Tone Stage is a predictive leveling amplifier linked directly to the drive knob. And True Auto Gain is a completely transparent, real-time RMS volume matcher right at the end of the chain. This means, and this is wild, you can push the plugin to its absolute destructive limits, and Auto Gain will smoothly ride the master output fader so your mix volume stays perfectly leveled. You get all that extreme vintage color with zero blown-out volume spikes.
Finally, let's get into Section 5, the recording workflow.
Let's move to the setup screen and see how this all builds together. It's incredibly straightforward to capture audio from external hardware straight into the plugin. So, for example, on a PC, you can set your audio device type to Windows Audio, and then simply select Microphone MPC Sample Audio as your input. This effectively routes your external hardware, like an actual MPC, directly through the Archives DSP engine.
Once you're routed, you interact with this internal recording and sampling UI. Just keep your eyes glued to that beautifully modeled vintage VU meter so you avoid clipping while retaining maximum analog fidelity.
So, just to lock this in, recording the archive-specific character into your audio files live takes exactly 4 steps. Step 1. Select your input source, like Windows Audio or MPC sample. Step 2. Choose your vintage character. Pick your sampler model and tape speed. Step 3. Monitor that input signal, aiming for peaks right around 0 VU on the meter. And Step 4, simply press Rec to capture that incoming audio directly into the plugin. It is literally that intuitive to get authentic, colored sound recorded live.
Which brings us to our final thought for today. Now that you possess the ultimate locked vintage DSP engine right inside your modern DAW, and you have this complete visual manual to navigate its architecture, whose legendary sonic footprint are you going to resurrect on your next record? Take this knowledge, fire up your session, and go make something incredible. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer.